Nathaniel Hawthorne, the writer of The Scarlet Letter and The House of Seven Gables, had many main events leading up to the writing of those books. The main ones that I'll go over today were his childhood and his courtship and marriage to Sophia Peabody, his wife. Nathaniel Hawthorne's family was very prominent in the English community, with several of his ancestors immigrating over to America and latter generations dropping the W in Hawthorne. Nathaniel grew up the son of a late sailor and with a mom who became very depressed because his father had drowned at sea. This depression slowly slid down to his two sisters and him later on in life. Nathaniel Hawthorne was sent away at a young age to other relatives and then was sent to a college to further his degree at the urging and expense of other family members. When he graduated with his degree, he decided to go back home to Salem, Massachusetts, which, as many people remember Salem for, was the home of the Salem witch trials, and write for a magazine/newspaper that was very popular at the time. However, the deadlines were very constricting and overwhelming to him, and that is what drove him to withdraw from society, which is where Sophia Peabody and he met at the urging of a mutual acquaintance. Sophia Peabody's family was very big in the Revolutionary War, with her great-grandfather being a close friend of Paul Revere before his midnight ride. Her family took great pride in that, and her mother and older sister were both teachers, both of which helped Sophia to go throughout life and understand the different aspects of the human body and painting, which were two big parts of her life further down the road. When she was young, she began having migraines and headaches at a very alarming rate at which they grew. When she got older, her sister Elizabeth urged her to go to Cuba to see if a climate change would help her headaches lessen. And they did, but when she came back home, they grew worse than before. Some experts speculate that it was because of the pressure that her mother was putting on her, but this has not been completely verified. Sophia Peabody grew rapidly worse and had to support herself through paintings and through the help of her older sister Elizabeth and her parents. She moved to Salem away from her family, but still close enough to Elizabeth, and continued to paint, but slowly became an invalid and was couch-ridden. When Nathaniel Hawthorne met Sophia Peabody, she was having one of her migraine spells, and this drove her to tell him that she would see him if he came back again, but if he didn't, then she was not even going to come down for this visit. He did come back again, and they talked, and then a headache came on her again, and she had to leave. But that brief interaction had Nathaniel very interested, and they began courting. After a short time, or what would be considered short in their time era, he proposed to her, of which she refused because she was so sick. She believed that if they were to be married, then she would get better. Several more months and years passed, and he proposed a few more times, and she refused all of them. When she finally said yes, it was because the doctors had speculated that she was at the end of her life, and they both recognized that they wanted to be together until her death, which was supposed to be a very short time. But when they announced to their parents and siblings that she was engaged to him, she got quickly better. When she got married, she got completely healed and no longer needed any assistance from medicine or doctors of any sort, and was a happy, carefree young wife. They welcomed their first daughter, Una, a year and a half into their marriage in 1844. And in 1850, Nathaniel Hawthorne published his well-known book, The Scarlet Letter, which was a classic nowadays and people adored back then. A year later, in 1851, he published The House of Seven Gables, and later after he published it, they welcomed their third daughter, into the world. This all happened leading up to the events of Nathaniel Hawthorne's writing of the Scarlet Letter and the House of Seven Gables, and all contributed to their masterpieces. Thank you.